guys, thank you for having me. Coming to you here from the braaap assembly line, so you'll probably hear guys bashing around in the background assembling bikes. And yeah, just want to start by thanking you for having me on. I'm really interested in your group and what you guys do. I think this EV space is incredibly exciting, and as a manufacturer and a brand, we're looking at this space with keen interest. So groups like yourselves are of interest to us because I know there's a lot of technical knowledge there. There's people who are very enthusiastic about this, and we've got to learn from you guys. So yeah, thank you for inviting me to kind of share my story and the braaap story and our journey into the electric motorcycle category. I hope by the end of this that you understand who we are and our goals, and the benefit I'd like is just for you to know that, and also to get any feedback. We want you guys, enthusiasts like yourselves, to keep an eye on us, give your pointers, give your feedback as we move into the electric motorcycle category ourselves. So before we get into the technical side of the bike, which we'll get there, I know that's a big part of the questions you guys want me to talk about, is the technical and the spec side of the bike. I want to talk a bit about our brand and our company and where we sit and position ourselves in the market, because I think that's really important for you guys to understand. So well, here at braaap, we're a family business. That's something I'm really proud of. I started the business in 2005 as a young guy who was ambitious and naive. Not sure which one was higher, the ambition or the naivety, but I started out with a mission to make motorcycling accessible and affordable so more people could get involved in what we do. We started in niche categories. Our best-selling bike is a 250cc cafe racer. That niche has been really good for us. So our goal has never been like to win MotoGP. Our goal has been to build an awesome bike that's high quality so it can offer our lifetime warranty, a bike that looks awesome, and a bike that sits at a price point that you know, makes it incredibly attractive. Like, our price point is a big part of what we do. So yeah, we started, I saw this, originally it was in the superlight or the pit bike category that we started building bikes in 2005, and I raced motocross. I loved motorcycling. That was my thing growing up, and I got to this point where I saw an opportunity in the market to build a bike that was affordable and accessible, ready to go, but to do that needed to find a manufacturer. So designed up a bike, this is in about 2005, designed up a bike and thought I'd get on a plane and go to China and find a factory that could build it for us. And yeah, I was at the time 18, never been outside of Australia at that time, and yeah, very naive, very ambitious, very naive, didn't know what I was getting myself in for, and went to China to find a factory to build a bike. And man, I remember getting to my first factory and just being blown away by the scale of this stuff. These guys were building like 16,000 bikes a month. I had no idea how this stuff worked, and went there to pitch and present what I was up to the factory owner. And yeah, anyway, long story short, they knocked me back. They laughed me out of the office because I didn't have any money, had no engineering experience, had no distribution channel, and yeah, we kept going. And after over 50 factories had knocked me back, we found a partnership and we got to build our first bike, and that was in 2005. And from there, we've been leveraging other manufacturers, supply agreements, and doing R&D and development ourselves here. So it depends on the model. Here at braaap, our process is to either do a partnership bike, and we're always upfront about that if it's a partnership bike, where we find a manufacturer who's done something great, and then we add value to it, make changes, or we just start from the ground up, which we've done with a couple of our models, where we 3D print a sample bike, we take it to a trade fair, get someone to place a big order so we can put it into production, and then we move our molds and our jigs to a supplier who can build the right part for us at the right time frame and the right price point. So, I mean, that's a really quick overview of what we do here at braaap. We have about 10 different models, ranging from our best seller, the Cafe Racer, the ST250, the 250 Moto 3s. We do some dirt bikes, and the new model we've been launching really hard at the moment has been a 400cc parallel twin, and that model mix has really helped us with our goal of really owning the LAMS approved category. That's been the sweet spot for us recently, is the learner approved market. And funny enough, about half of our customers are not actually learners. They just buy our bike because they're really well priced, they're great commuters, and they're heaps of fun. So that's interesting. But the big thing that you guys want to hear about, and probably the most anticipated or exciting launch that we've ever done is the launch of the braaap Moto E for 2022, which we're pre-selling at the moment. And yeah, it's pretty exciting to bring an electric motorcycle to the market, something we've been working on for 5 years. And we set out to build a bike that created a dilemma in the dealership. And the dilemma that we wanted to create for the consumer was, does the rider buy a gasoline-powered bike or an electric bike? And the reason it's a dilemma is because we wanted our specs to be similar in our electric offering to the gasoline. That's always been our goal. We didn't want people to have to pay extra to ride electric, or to have to be in love with the idea to ride electric, or maybe like a lot of you guys, just being enthusiasts who loves the electric stuff. We didn't want any of those caveats. We wanted someone to walk into a dealership and say, I want a motorcycle, and then the dilemma be, do I buy gasoline or electric, because the spec and the price are competitive. So we've been leveraging off the back of partners who've built and made battery supply much more affordable. For 5 and a bit years we've been working with hub manufacturers and battery management systems, just to make sure that we could get the power output to be fast enough, so you can sit on the highway, you can have a good bike off the production floor. A bike that would be a great blank canvas for enthusiasts that want to go to town and hot their bike up and, you know, get the maximum they can out of an electric vehicle. Maybe that's you guys. But most importantly, a bike that's affordable, and a bike that we could offer our lifetime warranty on. So had to be reliable. So we'll get into the specs in a minute, but that's kind of a really quick overview of what we've been up to. We started with a bit of a blank canvas about 5 or 6 years ago. We started in the dirt bike with a dirt bike prototype, and the reason was because we thought the dirt bike would teach us a lot. There'd be a lot, like the dirt bike rider would be a lot harder on the technology than a road bike rider, but we always had the goal and thought that the road application of this electric motorcycle stuff would be really where the opportunity lies. Maybe I'm wrong in that. I'm sure there's opportunity in the dirt bike segment too, but for us, we really wanted to tackle the road segment and build a bike that you could ride to work on or ride on the road for fun. So yeah, 2022 we're launching. We expect the Moto E to be ready and on the roads by the end of the year. There's a few challenges, as you guys probably track along with the government compliance and the ADR of electric bikes. It's a bit different. For example, we've got to do a noise test still. Things like that really the certification process is designed for gasoline bikes. So anyway, we're adapting through that and working through that process at the moment. All of our molds and jigs are built, our supply agreements are in place. We're ready to produce the bikes at high scale and higher volume. We're just waiting for the compliance to come through, which I think will be probably around 12 to 16 weeks realistically from this point. So yeah, that's a bit of an overview on where we're at. It's interesting, one of the questions I had for you guys is, I'd love you to check out our Moto E, and I'm going to talk about the specs in a sec, which I've written down here, but I'd love you guys to give us feedback on what it looks like from an enthusiast point of view, because from our question is, how do we build a bike that's reliable, safe, all those type of things, but is still a blank canvas that enthusiasts can go to town on, and we really want to inspire that. That's been a huge part of what we do with the cafe racer segment of our normal gas-powered engine bike range, is the customization. If we can sell a bike really low margin, that means our innovation is as much the manufacturing process and partnerships as it is anything else, so we can get the bike at a really low price point, and then that leaves room for people to be able to go and customize, personalize and hot them up. So I'd love to hear your feedback on that and what we've put out to the market. We've been promoting 3 different model sort of spec mixes. First of all, the bike the chassis and the kind of like the rolling bike that we've applied the electric powertrain to is the same bike that our braaap Moto 4 model is going to be for 2022. We'll also have a 250cc and a 400cc version of that, and the electric version. So that kind of fits with our goal of making an electric bike that kind of creates a dilemma for the consumer. You can choose it on a gasoline-powered platform or an electric platform. and it's pretty much the same bike. And that makes, I think, for an enthusiast who wants to go and personalise and hot up his electric bike, means he can get a bike that's ADR approved, street legal, is backed by a lifetime warranty. So, you know, obviously if you change your battery, we're not going to cover your battery, but we would cover your brakes and probably your hub as well, hub motor, things like that. We want to make it so it's enthusiast friendly. So yeah, so we're offering in 3 different spec mixes. One is the 3,000 watt hub motor. That's the cheapest one. Our goal with that is just fast enough. So 80 k's an hour top speed, quite slow getting there. It's not going to excite anyone, but if getting on the road on an electric motorcycle is your ambition, that's the cheapest and coolest looking electric bike on the market, in our opinion. Then the 5,000 watt hub motor, that one there is probably going to be our best seller. That one sits price point wise right in the middle there, and yeah, you know, our goal is to kind of be around that $5,000 mark for a bike that'll do easy the freeway or sit on the speedway, the speed limits on the freeway. You're not going to wheel stand there in the standard spec, all that type of thing, but you will have a heap of fun. You will be able to do the speed limit, and it's a great bike for you guys to go and hot up and make faster. And then we've got the 8,000 watt hub motor with a 72 volt 100 amp hour battery, and that's our kind of top of the range one. We're selling that for $6,500 at this point. That'll go up to about 10 once they actually hit the road, but right now we're offering pre-orders at $6,500 for our top of the range bike. Yeah, that one's been the one that we've pre-sold the most of, because I think people are really excited to tinker with electric bikes, and we're getting heaps of questions about that. So yeah, it's interesting. Obviously you guys will be doing the calculations on if you've got a 8,000 watt hub motor, and that's like the recommendation. Obviously the max output is much higher than that. I've written some notes on that which I'll talk to you about, but I'm really interested to hear if you guys have had experience with these type of motors, what sort of max output you've got. I know that yeah, people will be adding to the batteries or putting different batteries in them, playing with the controller units and the BMS to really push out some higher numbers. So yeah, I'm really looking to you guys for some advice on that. The thing for us is, though, I've got to keep saying, and I'm banging on a bit about it, but we've really got to make sure that as a production bike we offer something that the average punter can get on, hit the button, ride it, and know that it's going to be reliable. And with the move to electric, it's that's a real risk for us. So yeah, it's interesting some of the different challenges that have come up as we've developed this electric stuff, and the partnerships we've had to develop. Really a huge part of the fight has been in the supply agreements to get good batteries. The hub, we don't make the hub, we buy that in. So just getting that spec'd to our specs and from our instruction, but from factories that already have sold thousands and thousands of the specific product that we buy from them. And it's interesting for us because we've got mechanics here that know our bikes, our carburetors, our standard engines, they know really well, but we move into this electric segment and we've really had to draw on the knowledge of the crowd. We've got Alex here who's really clued up on it, but for the most part we've had to get consultants in, and we've had to reach out to enthusiasts like yourselves and say, hey, this is what we want to put to the market. Keep giving us feedback. So we're trying to be really transparent about that putting a bike on the road at super aggressive price points is an innovation for us in the business model side of things. The product is finally there, like the product's finally ready to go, but the innovation for us has been the support behind the scenes. So our warranty process has to change, our servicing processes have to change, our spare parts division have to get a big education. We've got to build a new system for spare parts to plug in this electric stuff. So it's been a fair journey for us. So I know that a big part of this is talking specs. There's one key spec that you guys are going to be hounding me for, and that is our torque output, and we haven't published that yet. The reason is we have published what batteries we're going to use, we have published what hubs we're going to use, but our torque we're really playing around with the control systems like the BMS and the controller, just to make sure that whatever specs we put to the market, we put the most amount of Ks on and we're confident. So we're going to finalise that number closer to delivery date. I know that the bikes can put out way more than what we've sort of talked about. Like we've said that you know, there's a 72 volt 100 amp hour battery that we're pushing through, but yeah, our hub is rated up to 144 volts, so you can push a lot more through it. Whether we can offer a warranty or not on that is the other question, but that's why we're kind of got to put controls in place and then allow people like yourselves to go and be enthusiasts and modify things to get some big numbers out of them. So that's interesting. Yeah, so our torque number we haven't promoted. That's part of like offering the bikes at really low prices to launch, just to say, hey, come on a journey with us, jump on early, get rewarded for a really low price. And some of these things will confirm closer to delivery dates. I was talking here earlier about the watt motors we're going to be putting out. So the 3000, the 5000, the 8000 watt motor, 17-inch rear wheel hub motor. We just found that the most cost-effective, best bang for buck motor that we could put into a bike like this. I know there's faster, I know there's some incredible innovations out there, but we're not trying to win MotoGP, we're not trying to be Tesla, we're trying to put a bike to the market that looks awesome, is backed by a lifetime warranty, and is fast enough to have heaps of fun on and get to work on the highway. So charge time, we're promoting at the moment 6 hours for charge time, but again, this is an area of innovation. There's a lot of great minds on working out all types of charging technologies that we hope to leverage. You guys would know a lot about this type of thing, I'm sure, but we're kind of got to promote conservative numbers, and then once technology is available, once we've got bikes on the road and we've chucked a few hundred bikes out on the road and made sure that everything's bedded down well, then we'll start to do partnerships with different battery and charging innovations and that type of thing to bring sort of the range up, to bring the charge time down, those type of things, and also to be able to drive that torque number up. That's a big one for us. We do want to have the ability to drive the torque number up, but it's probably the least important for us out of range is number one, charge time number two, and torque output number three. That's kind of a bit of a thought process that we had on this stuff. We're using a lithium battery. We had a few fails in prototyping. We tested out all types of other battery supply sources. We had fires here. We had on one of our controllers, we were trying all different controllers. We had a heap here, from the most expensive down to the no brand, cheapest one possible, and we had some pretty funny sort of fails. Obviously fires are not good, we've sorted all that out, we won't be using that type of battery. But yeah, one of the controllers, one of the test guys was riding down around our block here on our test bike, and he got to the lights, twisted the throttle, and the bike went backwards, so the controller had failed. So things like that, it's all part of R&D. They say R&D should be fun, but it's probably high risk. So guys, that's a bit of an overview on what we've been up to here with this electric stuff. Wish I could be there in person, it's way easier. It's hard just talking to a camera and not seeing you guys, but yeah, really appreciate you listening to what we're up to here at braaap, and I'd love to hear from you guys. At the moment, we're promoting the 2022 model Moto E, but for the last 5 years, we've been prototyping, testing, developing what has become the 2022 model bike that we've launched and got on a massive promo. The innovation is that we're driving the price through the ground, so you can get a fully electric, full-size motorcycle that can ride on the Australian roads, and you can ride it to work, and they start at $29.90. So like, that's just stupid pricing if you're someone who's been tracking along with electric motorcycles. Go to the Moto E website, it's a huge innovation. You can pay $500 to buy your keys, and we'll have the bike delivered to you at the end of the year.